Question. Mike is setting up the infrastructure for a web application that requires 3 EC2 instances to handle the expected demand. However, when testing the application, Mike finds that all traffic to the application is being routed to only one of the servers. What AWS feature should he add to his application in order to have traffic evenly distributed between all 3 servers? Choose the correct answer. A. Elastic Load Balancer. B. Auto-scaling C Route 53 D Cloud Front. Answer. A. Elastic Load Balancer. Explanation. An elastic load balancer is designed to evenly distribute incoming web traffic between all servers that are associated with it. Question. Karen is building a website that is expected to have a minimum of 1,000 users continually over the course of 24 hours. For 8 hours each day, traffic is expected to be at about 1,800 users. What EC2 buying options should she use to handle all the traffic and be most cost-effective? Choose the correct answer. A. Karen should rely solely on spot instances since that will be the cheapest option. B. Karen should buy enough reserved instance capacity to handle all 1,800 users and probably buy a little more capacity just in case it is needed. C. Karen should buy reserved instances with enough capacity to cover the baseline of 1,000 users, then rely on on-demand instances for the 8-hour period of increased traffic each day. Answer. C. Karen should buy reserved instances with enough capacity to cover the baseline of 1,000 users, then rely on on-demand instances for the 8-hour period of increased traffic each day. Question. Amit is running a web application with a capacity of 5,000 users. Every few days, traffic reaches 5,000 users and any additional users are being denied access. What can Amit do to efficiently automate the process of adding and removing server capacity based on traffic demand? Choose the correct answer. A. Enable elastic load balancing on his application. B. Automating this process cannot be done. C. Enable auto-scaling on his application. D. Write a custom script to automate the process. Answer. C. Enable auto-scaling on his application. Explanation. Auto-scaling in AWS allows you to configure metric-based rules that, when triggered, will add and slash or remove instances, server capacity to your application. Adding / moving instances is then automated based on the metric rules you configure. Question. What are the TWO main security layers, firewalls, used inside a VPC? Choose the 2 correct answers. A. Net Protect. B. Network Access Control List. C. Security Group. D. Security Lists. Answer. B. Network Access Control List. C. Security Group. Explanation. Network Access Control Lists, NACL, act as a firewall on the subnet level, and security groups act as a firewall on the instance level. Question. What is a main benefit of CloudFront? Choose the correct answer. A. DNS management. B. Unlimited storage. C. Serverless compute capacity. D. Built-in DDoS protection. Answer. D. Built-in DDoS protection. Explanation. CloudFront allows you to cache content at edge locations. When a request is made for that content, the request is sent to an edge location, not your application's hardware, so the edge locations will absorb any DDoS attack and protect your underlying hardware. Question. What best describes the concept of a virtual private cloud? Choose the correct answer. A private section of AWS in which you control what resources are placed inside. B. A collection of data centers. C. A shared section of AWS between you and other AWS account holders. D. A private section of AWS in which you control what resources are placed inside and who can access those resources. Answer. D. A private section of AWS in which you control what resources are placed inside and who can access those resources. Explanation. A VPC is a private section of AWS in which you control what resources are placed inside and who can access those resources. A VPC defines your own private network that runs on AWS infrastructure. Question. An edge location is a specialized AWS data center that works in conjunction with what AWS service? Choose the correct answer. A. Route 53. B. CloudWatch. C. Lambda. D. CloudFront. Answer. D. CloudFront. Explanation. CloudFront is comprised of a network of edge locations, which is where content is cached. Question: what is the EC2 AMI marketplace? Choose the correct answer. A. Where you select the storage type of an EC2 instance. B. A collection of pay-to-use EC2 AMI that generally come packaged with licensed enterprise software. C. Where you store AMI that you create. D. Where you select to compute capacity of an EC2 instance. Answer. B. A collection of pay-to-use EC2 AMI that generally come packaged with licensed enterprise software. Question: Children's All Saints Hospital has millions of old medical records that they must save for regulatory reasons. These records will most likely never be accessed again. What is the best and most cost-effective S3 storage option that will meet the hospital's needs? Choose the correct answer. A. Standard. B. Infrequent access. C. Glacier. D. Reduced redundancy. Answer: C. Glacier. Explanation: Glacier is specifically designed for long-term archival storage. It is extremely inexpensive and should only be used for items that you access very infrequently. Question: Kunnel is logged into his company's AWS account. He tries to access EC2 but is getting an error. What is the most likely reason why he cannot access EC2? Choose the correct answer. A. There is not an IAM access policy attached to his IAM user. B. He is not part of an IAM group. C. He does not have multi-factor authentication, MFA, enabled. D. There is not an IAM access policy attached to his IAM role. Answer: A. There is not an IAM access policy attached to his IAM user. Explanation: when an IAM user is created, that user has no access to any AWS services. To gain access to an AWS server, an IAM user must have permission granted to them. This is done by attached an IAM access policy to their IAM user or through an attached group. However, just being in a group does not grant access. A proper policy would need to be attached to that group. Question: what are two open-source in-memory engines supported by Elasticache? Choose the two correct answers. A. Redis. B. Aurora. C. Cacheit. D. Memcache. D. Answer: A. Redis. D. Memcache. D. Question: what is the name of AWS RDS SQL database engine? Choose the correct answer. A. Lightsail. B. SNS. C. MySQL. D. Aurora. Answer: D. Aurora. Explanation: AWS created their own custom SQL database engine, which is called Aurora. Question: if you want to monitor the average CPU usage of your EC2 instances, which AWS service should you use? Choose the correct answer. A. Cloud Monitor. B. Cloud Trail. C. Cloud Watch. D. None of the above. Answer: C. Cloud Watch. Explanation: Cloud Watch is used to collect, view, and track metrics for resources, such as EC2 instances, in your AWS account. Question: if you want to have SMS or email notifications sent to various members of your department with status updates on resources in your AWS account, what service should you choose? Choose the correct answer. A. STS. B. RDS. C. Get SMS. D. SNS. Answer: D. SNS. Explanation: D. SNS. Question: which AWS service uses a combination of publishers and subscribers? Choose the correct answer. A. SNS. B. RDS. C. EC2. D. Lambda. Answer: A. SNS. Explanation: in SNS, there are two types of clients: publishers and subscribers. Publishers send the message and subscribers receive the message. Question: what term best describes the AWS pricing model? Choose the correct answer. A. Pay all up front. B. Pay as you go. C. Pay all at end. D. None of the above. Answer: B. Pay as you go. Explanation: AWS operates on a pay-as-you-go model. No upfront cost or termination fees. Question: if you want to learn about AWS architectural or security best practices, where will you find that type of information? Choose the correct answer. A. AWS Yellow Pages. B. AWS Console Info Section. C. AWS White Papers. D. AWS Service Documentation. Answer: C. AWS White Papers. Explanation: White papers are a collection of technical documents that outlines many AWS-relevant topics. Question: in the AWS Shared Responsibility Model, what is AWS responsible for? Select all that apply. Choose the two correct answers. A. Physical security of the AWS data centers. B. Server-side encryption. C. Network-level security. D. The maintenance of the host's virtualization software. Answer: A. Physical security of the AWS data centers. D. The maintenance of the host's virtualization software. Question: consolidated billing is managed through what AWS service? Choose the correct answer. A. AWS TCO. B. AWS Billing Manager. C. AWS Consolidated Management. D. AWS Organizations. Answer: D. AWS Organizations. Explanation: AWS Organizations is where you can manage multiple AWS accounts in one place, including its billing features, such as consolidated billing. Question: what must you do before you do any penetration testing on your account? Choose the correct answer. A. Penetration testing is now allowed. B. Contact AWS and let them know first. C. Nothing, you are free to do penetration testing whenever you like. D. None of the above. Answer: B. Contact AWS and let them know first. Explanation: you must contact AWS before doing any penetration testing on your account. If you do not notify AWS first, they may shut down your account. Question: which of the following are AWS support plans? Select all that apply. Choose the three correct answers. A. Enterprise. B. Expert. C. Basic. D. Business. Answer: A. Enterprise. C. Basic. D. Business. Explanation: AWS has 4 support plan levels. Basic, Developer, Business, Enterprise. Question: what is the term used to describe giving an AWS user only access to the exact services he/she needs to do the required job and nothing more? Choose the correct answer. A. The least privilege user principle. B. The principle of least privilege. C. The only access principle. D. None of the above. Answer: B. The principle of least privilege. Question: what you create an S3 bucket? What rules must be followed regarding the bucket name? Select all that apply. Choose the two correct answers. A. Bucket names must be unique across all of AWS. B. Bucket names must be between 3-63 characters in length. C. Bucket names must contain at least one uppercase letter. D. Bucket names can be formatted as IP addresses. Answer: A. Bucket names must be unique across all of AWS. B. Bucket names must be between 3-63 characters in length. Explanation: although certain regions do allow for uppercase letters in the bucket name, uppercase letters are not required. Also, a bucket name cannot be formatted as an IP address. Question: what are some common uses of AWS? Select all that apply. Choose the 4 correct answers. A. Networking. B. Analytics. C. Storage. D. Virtualization. Answer: A. Networking. B. Analytics. C. Storage. D. Virtualization. Explanation: all of the answers are common uses of AWS. AWS has thousands of different uses. In this course, we discussed some of the major categories, including storage, compute power, databases, networking, analytics, developer tools, virtualization, security. Question: how much data can you store in S3? Choose the correct answer. A. Storage capacity is virtually unlimited. B. You can store up to 1 petabyte of data. C. Each account is given 50 gigabytes of storage capacity and no more can be used. D. You can store up to 1 petabyte of data. Then you are required to pay an additional fee. Answer: A. Storage capacity is virtually unlimited. Explanation: although there is theoretically a capacity limit, as an S3 user, there is no limit on the amount of data you can store in S3.